What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin back on the show. What's up, Dustin?
What's up, man? Thanks as always.
Yep, good to have you on. And we got Bret back on the show. Bret, good to have you back on.
Yeah, glad to be back. Thanks, man.
We got the crew together. The NFL season right around the corner. Thursday night, 2 days away. Thursday night, the season opener, Cowboys-Bucks. Can't wait to get this season started. The fans back in full attendance. So, I think home field advantage is going to play a big role this year with the crowd noise and all that. And I think it's going to be great. I mean, we saw it week one of the college football season with the fans and the environments being amazing. And I think these NFL stadiums, these games are going to be maybe even more special and amazing and loud and fun to watch. I mean, you think about a packed stadium at SoFi for the Rams or a packed stadium in Vegas for the Raiders. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. This is also, with everything with COVID last year, it's going to be nice to, like you said, everything's kind of back to normal pretty much. And hopefully we don't have too many mishaps because they did announce that any COVID issues would be a forfeit. So,
yeah, and I think that's their take right now. I think if they have to, they'll make adjustments. They're trying to instill like a fear factor, like don't test positive, get vaccinated. And right. I think that if they have to, they will adjust. But we'll see. So let's get into this. Let's start off with Steelers at Bills week one. This should be one of the best games week one in Buffalo with the Bills Mafia. The fans, they're going to be out in full attendance, being super loud. I got the Bills winning week one against the Steelers. What do you got, Dustin? Bills, Steelers.
I have the Buffalo Bills, and I want to say something a little bit early. Josh Allen is my MVP for the year.
Okay, you think he's going to take even another step and really ball out this year?
Yes.
What do you think, Bret? Do you think the Steelers can go into Buffalo, or do you think Buffalo's got this one?
I think Buffalo kind of just stays hot and, shows that they're up at the next level and proves a point here week one.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll select the Bills here, 1-0. Steelers 0-1. Jags at Texans. This is an interesting game because I'll be honest, I don't know what to make of the Texans this year. But Tyrod Taylor starting at quarterback, and I just don't expect much. I think they're going to be a bad team. We'll see it. I don't think Deshaun Watson plays for the Texans at all. And I do think that a quarterback injury or whatever, and a team will be desperate enough. I think Deshaun Watson will get traded this year. So I still think we'll see him on the field this year. But Jags at Texans, I think rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence, rookie head coach Urban Meyer, NFL rookie. I think the Jags take week one over the Texans. What do you think, Bret?
I actually have the same thing. Everything going on with Houston right now, it's just a mess. And I know that Jacksonville has their rookie everything across the board. So they're still learning each other. But I think that, with everything going on in Houston, it's going to be a little difficult to compete and bring everything together. So Jacksonville.
Yeah. Do you agree, Dustin?
Absolutely. I got the Jags just for the simple fact that Houston's best player will probably never be playing for Houston again. So,
yeah. And looking at the depth chart, you got Tyrod Taylor and then the rookie Davis Mills. I just don't see Houston competing very much. Tyrod Taylor's never gone that I remember. He's never gone a full season as a starter. He always gets hurt or banged up at some point. So then you're going to be putting a rookie Davis Mills out there. I just don't see Houston being very competitive this year. So,
Taylor's decent, though.
He's decent when healthy. And can he stay healthy? So we'll see. So I got Jags. We all agree on Jacksonville. Here's another great game, week one. This is one of my, must-watch games of week one. The Browns at the Chiefs in Arrowhead. The fans are going to be super loud in Arrowhead week one. I don't see any way the Browns go in there and steal this win. I think, you look at Patrick Mahomes' record in September, is 10-0 as a starter. So I don't think anything changes. I got the Chiefs. Do you agree, Dustin?
Yeah, for the simple fact that it's in Arrowhead, I got Kansas City. If it would have been in Cleveland, it might have been a different story.
Yeah. What do you think, Bret?
Exactly what Dustin said. It's hard to go into Arrowhead and win. If it was in Cleveland, there might be a different chance, especially since last year. But yeah, Kansas City.
Dustin had a good take on Josh Allen, a good bold take there about Josh Allen being MVP. Is there any thought in your guys' mind about putting Baker Mayfield into that conversation?
I mean, it's gonna depend on how he does because again, he's in a very tough division this year. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I agree. I'm not putting him in that conversation. I think the strength of the Browns is their two-headed running back monsters.
Yeah, and that's it's going to be a different. It's hard to say because that division is really tough. So it could go really bad or really well right away. And if they start off with 3-1, 4-2, maybe something like that, I could see him possibly being in that. But I'm not confident enough to say that right now.
Yeah, they need to go in order to be in the MVP conversation. They need to go like 12-5, 13-4, and it's too tough a division, I think. All right, let's go. Dolphins at Patriots. The shocker for New England is the release of Cam Newton and naming rookie quarterback Mac Jones the Week 1 starter. Going up against a nasty defense in Miami. The Patriots, let's not forget, Stephon Gilmore is on the PUP list for 6 weeks. So no Stephon Gilmore for 6 weeks. They still have J.C. Jackson and some, they'll be fine. I think New England's defense is going to be nasty this year. People forget a lot. They had a lot of COVID opt-outs last year. They made a lot of moves in free agency. I think New England's going to have maybe a top 5 defense this year. So, there's questions about Tua. So I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. Week 1, Dolphins at Patriots. I'm going New England here. What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah, I'm gonna go New England. It's just for me, I chose them because I'm not sure what Tua is yet. He hasn't showed me anything. So I think with the game being in Foxborough, New England's gonna win.
Yeah, I agree. It's a big prove it year for Tua. What do you think, Bret?
I want to say that the Patriots are going to lose, but I don't think they will.
It's hard to bet against them, right? In Foxborough, Week 1.
Yeah, and with not knowing the level of play with Miami's quarterback situation, I can't be confident in that one.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go Ravens at Raiders. This is the game I was talking about in Vegas, the Death Star. That place is going to be popping on Monday Night Football. I can't wait for this game. Because of that reason, the home field and the atmosphere, I don't see any way the Ravens go in there and steal a win. The Ravens might be the more talented team on paper and it might have a better record at the end of the year. But Week 1 in that environment, I'm taking Vegas. What do you think, Bret?
Yeah, I would probably have to go with the Raiders. I think that they're gonna bounce back just a little bit, and I feel like they're gonna be the better team. I don't know. It's so hard with this first week. But yeah, like the whole, being at home, starting off the year, I think it'll go their way.
Yeah. What do you think, Dustin? You agree?
See, guys, this is where I have to disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't think that they have enough people on defense to be able to stop Lamar in that offense. And the fact that the Baltimore Ravens just signed Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, that's another thing.
I think that could be huge. So I'm going to go Baltimore.
Okay.
I forgot about the fact that they signed Le'Veon Bell. You're right. They are a little higher powered. You know what? I think I might have to go with Baltimore for that one.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. It sucks they lost J.K. Dobbins for the year. Then they lost Justice Hill for the year. And that's why they went and got Le'Veon Bell. So their two-headed running back is Gus Edwards and Le'Veon Bell to go with Lamar Jackson. Another thing we got to talk about is no Rashad Bateman for at least 3 weeks, their rookie wide receiver. And it looks like who's that other guy? Boykin, Miles Boykin, out for at least 3 weeks. So the
Oh,
Ravens are a little beat up.
What?
Yeah, Ravens are a little beat up. What do you guys think? You still think Baltimore?
I mean, I don't know. I had Baltimore originally anyway. I'm not sure why I said the Raiders. They're going to be all right, I think. They made the right moves. Yeah, they lost a few pieces, but they probably are still much better talent-wise offensively than the Raiders are defensively.
Yeah, I can respect that. It's going to be
mean,
a hell of a game regardless.
Do not sleep on that Baltimore defense. They didn't really lose anybody this offseason.
Yeah, they're great on defense. It's going to be hard fought. And we'll see if the Raiders improve defensively too. Let's go AFC, NFC here. Vikings at Bengals. The Bengals drafted Jamar Chase, so Cincy is going to be, they're going to be high powered with Burrow, Tyler Boyd, and those guys. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook. A lot of people are sleeping on the Vikings, and I don't think we should be. I think they had a down year last year, and they're talented. And with adding guys like Sheldon Richardson and some of these big beefy guys on the D line, I think the Vikings have a bounce back year. Also, they added Patrick Peterson from the Cardinals at corner. I got Minnesota in Cincy week 1. Do you agree, Dustin?
All right, real quick, Alex. Do you trust Kirk Cousins?
In the regular season, yeah, I do to a point. I don't think Cincinnati's going to pick him off 4 times. Justin Jefferson, I mean, that dude is a monster. Then you got Adam Thielen. It does suck that Irv Smith Jr. is probably out for the year. That's a big loss. They did lose starting tight end Kyle Rudolph to the Giants. So they're down to I forget, is it Conklin at tight end? So, but I still think Conklin's going to do all right. You got Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison. I think the Vikings will be just fine.
I got Minnesota.
Yeah. Do you agree, Bret?
Yeah, I have Minnesota. They're not, like you said, everybody's freaking out about them. But they were right there, They're either one next decision from going way up or way down. But I think week 1 there, it's in the books.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll have a good bounce back year and maybe even make the playoffs. Now let's go Seattle at Indy. Dustin's Colts here, taking on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. I can't shake the thought of Carson Wentz being rusty, being out with that foot injury for a while, then coming back to practice, and then going out with COVID. Or I'm not sure if he had it or it was close, proximity to people that had it. But I just feel like Indy is going to be a little shaky to start the year. So I'm going Seattle to go into Indy and take week 1. Am I crazy, Bret? What do you think on this?
Yeah, I actually have Indy winning this game because I have them losing the following week. But I think it's just their defense is pretty good, and Seattle, of course, obviously they've had the same regime there, kind of like as far as their mainframe goes for the last several years, and I think they're going to be all right and play well, but I just think Indy's defense might be a little bit have the edge enough for their offense to, get them over the hump.
Okay. Indy's, maybe I'm sleeping on Indy's defense a little bit. What do you think, Dustin? Is your defense good enough? Let's say Carson Wentz is a little rusty early on, and the offense doesn't put up enough points. What's the news on T.Y. Hilton, Dustin? Is he good to go week 1 or is he hurt?
Last I heard is he's going to be out at least the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's huge. You know that. That's huge.
Absolutely. But see, the reason why I'm going Indy here, and hear me out, is because I don't think Seattle's going to be able to stop our run game. Jonathan Taylor, second year. Marlon Mack, they're both going to go off.
Is Frank Reich going to feed them enough? Is he going to play run first?
He should, because we don't know what Wentz is going to bring to the table, and running the ball is going to be able to limit, the throws that Carson has, and it'll eventually open it up later on.
Yeah, if he does that, that's a recipe for success. That's exactly what I would do early on until Carson Wentz gets comfortable, gets his best weapons on the field, and then you can start to air it out more. I'm going Seattle here. A guy to keep an eye on for Seattle is newly acquired tight end Gerald Everett from the Rams. Russell Wilson was really excited about this addition, and I think that's going to open up the offense a little bit more. We saw the Seahawks struggle on offense late in the year, and I think, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are great receivers, and you need something else, and I think Gerald Everett brings that something else. And if they can figure out the run game somehow, they might be all right. I think Russell Wilson's a guy I've got in the MVP conversation this year. He was so upset in the offseason talking about wanting to get traded potentially. I think now he's happy, and I think they're going to let Russ cook for real this year. I think we see a big year out of Russell Wilson. So,
he is one of my top 4 finalists for the MVP. So,
yeah, he's a beast. All right, let's go. Chargers, Washington football team. Week 1, Justin Herbert, who had a hell of a rookie year, looking to take another step in year 2, going up against Ryan Fitzpatrick and the nasty defense of the Washington football team. At home with the crowd back, I think Washington's defense slows the Chargers offense down enough. I've got Washington winning week 1. I think the NFC East is going to struggle again this year, but Washington is a good enough team to win that division once again. Do you trust Ryan Fitzpatrick, Dustin?
Absolutely. He only has to get you maybe 9-10 wins to get in the playoffs, maybe even to win the NFC East. So I definitely trust him. But man, it's that defense they got over there in Washington. That defense is not going to be a joke, man. It's going to be serious over there.
Yeah, you think they can get to Herbert and win week 1?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think, Bret?
Yes, I also have Washington at home winning. If this game was in LA, I think it would be different. But being at home, like you said, Fitzpatrick has a chip on his shoulder, I think. So he's coming out to prove something.
I love this matchup. Week 1, Jets at Panthers. Sam Darnold going up against his old team, the team that drafted him. Did not have a good career there in New York. Now he's got a fresh opportunity in Carolina, reunited with Robbie Anderson. He's got DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey. I think the Panthers win this. Plus, you got a rookie, Zach Wilson in New York, who might struggle a little bit early on. Dustin, you got Carolina beating the Jets?
Yes, I do. And for the simple fact, as I said before, I think this is a prove-it year for Sam Darnold. So it's either win or it might not be on the team anymore. So
yeah, absolutely. He's got to show out.
I'm going to go Carolina.
Yeah. Bret, do you think the Panthers win this?
I do think the Panthers win this because I think there's another chip on somebody's shoulder here playing against their old team. So, I go Carolina.
All right. We all agree there. Do you guys think Zach Wilson will struggle early on in New York? Do you guys trust the Jets to develop and get success out of Zach Wilson? They couldn't do it with Sam Darnold. They haven't been able to do it since Joe Namath. Can Zach Wilson, they say on the back of the paper in New York, it said Broadway Zach when they drafted him. Is there any shot that Zach Wilson turns out to be that good in New York, or do you think he's going to struggle a little bit?
I think he's going to be good in New York. He's already got the talent. He just needs a team around him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you
I,
think?
I don't know. I'm just a little skeptical. I think he has the talent. Like, I agree with that. But just with how they dealt, they've dealt with their quarterbacks over the last several years, it makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, and we'll see if Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike LaFleur, the offensive coordinator there in New York, if he can get the most out of him. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Jets look on offense.
Okay, Alex, how many games would you give him for him to be able to show that he's what people think he should be?
Well, I mean, he's the starter week 1. He gets a full season. He gets more than a season. I mean, you invested a number 2 pick in him, number 2 overall. You give Zach Wilson like 3 years potentially before you say he doesn't work.
I agree.
Yep, I agree.
The-
I just want
the-
to get your concept on it.
Yeah, they're going to exhaust all, look at what the Giants are doing with Daniel Jones. We all have our questions about if Daniel Jones is the guy or not. And they completely surrounded him with weapons this year. So that's what you have to do with one of these young guys is you can't give up on them until you completely surround them with weapons and then see how they do. And then be like, well, it's obvious it's the quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's part of my issue with the Bears and Trubisky is did they ever surround him with enough playmakers? But let's not get me started on a Trubisky rant here.
Nah.
Let's go Cardinals at Titans. Dustin, I think the Titans are going to be a monster this year. I think they're going to be good on defense. And how do you stop this offense? I mean, I think they're going to be tough to beat. I think they beat the Cardinals by double digits here in week 1. If they feed Derrick Henry the right way and they play action off of it with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown and these weapons, man, they're going to be tough. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I have Tennessee big.
Yeah.
I have Tennessee winning. I picked Derrick Henry first in my fantasy league for a reason.
Yeah. What do you
Do
think
you
about
guys see him going back to back 2000 though?
What's that?
Do you see him doing back to back 2000?
Yes. Do you see him?
Henry?
I do see him, yes, but it's hard to go 2000 back to back.
Well, you have to consider this. They lost their offensive coordinator. Arthur Smith is now the head coach for the Falcons. So I'm looking that up right now, who their new offensive coordinator is. And we'll see if he commits to the run the same way. It's Todd Downing. I don't really know much about Todd Downing, so let me see who the hell this guy is.
Yeah, but Vrabel loves running the football.
He does. And if he's the head
man.
coach and he's like, look, we got to run the ball to win.
Well, if the new coach doesn't realize who his running back is and doesn't utilize him, then he shouldn't be coaching.
Exactly. So he was the tight ends coach since 2019. So he should know to run the ball and then, use Tannehill in play action and stuff like that. I agree. I think the Titans, with Henry running the ball successfully, that should really open up the routes and the receivers, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be tough to stop.
Yep. So
I still don't trust Kyler Murray either. So
yeah, I got my concerns about Arizona too. I think I saw some preseason with the Cardinals. I know it's just preseason, but Kyler Murray going 3 and out on offense and stuff. I didn't like it. I like Kyler Murray still. I'm not giving up on him yet, but I'm not a Cliff Kingsbury fan at all. And Bret, did you see this? Who was it, Dustin, that I sent it to you that said, it was David Carr on NFL Network. They asked him, they were talking about the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. And the first thing he mentioned, previewing this season, the first thing he mentioned was Larry Fitzgerald. And I'm like, the NFL Network, David Carr, Larry Fitzgerald's not in the league right now, right?
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
How do they get such big network time?
I know. You got to put Alex Leak and Friends on there. We know what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We would get ratings.
Yeah.
We talk about those things that nobody else talks about. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So let's go Broncos at Giants. I think this is going to be a great game. Some people were kind of surprised that Teddy Bridgewater was named the starting quarterback over Drew Lock, but I think it kind of makes sense. It's the Vic Fangio way. Play defense, run the ball, and don't turn it over. Be a game manager on offense. And that's what Bridgewater's in there to do. But keep an eye. If Bridgewater does turn the ball over, it'll go back to Drew Lock. I think we could see 4 quarterback changes throughout the year in Denver. You know what they say, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have 0. And I think that's what the Broncos are working with. Do you have that same doubt, Dustin, in Teddy Bridgewater? Or do you think Bridgewater can fix what the Broncos' issues and maybe go on a playoff run or at least be better than last year?
You know what? I mean, Bridgewater is a proven winner with what he did in New Orleans while Drew Brees was hurt.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think the defense is going to carry the team. I don't so much think Bridgewater is, but if I think the defense is as good as they are, I think they can be on the outside looking in the playoffs, but not in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I think that's a top 5 defense. I really do. They were good last year, and you add Kyle Fuller to that. I mean, holy shit, Bret, you got to be happy to see Kyle Fuller leave the division. And do you think he helps the Broncos defense even more?
I mean, he can't hurt it.
Yeah.
The defense needs some help, and you know, he's definitely a good player. You're right. I'm glad to see him out of the division. So anywhere else, I think is going to benefit from him, and you know, it'll be. I don't think he's going to be, you know, leading them to a championship or anything, but he's definitely going to, you know, wins above replacement. I think he's high up there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And being reunited with Vic Fangio, that was when the Bears had their most success on defense was with him. So,
Question for both you guys: Is
yeah.
this Daniel Jones's? Would you give him just this year for them to at least make the playoffs? If they make the playoffs, is he done in New York?
He's in Mitch Trubisky territory, in my opinion. You know how the Bears were deciding whether they should what was it? Give him one more year. He had like a team option on his rookie deal. You know, whether you match that or not, or like keep him around or not, and they declined it. That's where Daniel Jones is right now. He needs to prove he's got weapons all around him. He's got Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard. I'm missing one. Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he's loaded.
He loaded. So there's no excuse at this point. Daniel Jones needs to show out this year.
Is Barkley week 1? Do you know?
Yes, he's going. He's not going to be like the workhorse right away. They're going to ease him back into it, but he is going. Do you agree with me, Bret, on that?
Yeah. I mean, they're loaded talent-wise. There's no reason that anybody who's now supposed to be proving themselves couldn't. So absolutely.
Yeah. I really like the Kyle Rudolph addition there in New York too. That's a
that's gonna help.
Yeah, two-headed at tight end. Darius Slayton, I forgot to mention. And how about rookie first-round pick Kadarius Toney?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I love that pick.
Out of Florida, I like him too. I think, yeah, you're just proving it even more why Jones needs to be successful.
Absolutely. So, what's our pick? Broncos at Giants, going up against a nasty defense. You know, this is going to be a great game. I'm going Giants.
I think the Giants will win at home.
Yeah, but by like 3 points or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you think? You going Denver?
I think they're going to be in Jones's face all long.
Yeah, and you take, get a couple takeaways off of Daniel Jones, whether it's a forced fumble or a pick. You never know. So I'm going Giants. Brett's going Giants. You're going Broncos. That's a true pick'em game right there. So let's go NFC now. Thursday night, the opener, 2 days away. I can't wait.
Let's
Cowboys
go.
at Bucks. Dak Prescott, good to go. He's going to be playing, starting. Zeke Elliott, all those weapons, CD Lamb, Amari Cooper. All that being said, I got the Bucks. I think it might be a good game, but I got the Bucks, by 7 or so. What do you think,
Yeah.
Dustin?
Yeah, see, man, this game was so hard for me because I feel like Dak is going to come out and just surprise people. I mean, his first 4 games last year, he was on pace to have 6,000 yards passing.
Yep.
I mean, but man, that defense
Hey.
in Tampa Bay, I had to go with the Buccaneers.
Exactly. I love this defense. It's my favorite defense in football, and I'm a Bears fan, but I love this Bucs defense. And their young secondary. Huge fans of Carlton Davis, Antoine Winfield Jr., Murphy Bunting, those guys. Do you agree, Brett? Do you think the Bucs win this, or what do you think?
Yes, I do. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't against Dallas.
Yeah. I think Dak might struggle slightly early on in the year. I think he'll get it going, but I don't think he's going to explode the way he did to start the year last year. I think he's going to, peak like week 8, week 9 instead of peaking like week 3, week 2. He had like a little bit of a tweak in his shoulder. They're going to have to keep an eye on him. They need to protect Dak. He can't be taking these big hits anymore. They need to protect him, man.
Oh yeah, and Zach Martin might be out too, so that's huge.
Yeah, the last I saw on that, there's a chance. There's still a chance he might play. They're hoping that he can. He's got a test negative twice, and they're hoping that he can do that in time for the game. But they're not sure. They're hoping.
Because that would be huge.
That would be, with those pass rushers, they need everyone they can get.
Okay, so does Tampa Bay win because of their defense or because Tom Brady is a game manager and doesn't turn the ball over?
I think they win because of their defense. I think, I can't say Brady's not going to turn it over once or twice, but I think the Bucs take the ball away from Dallas a couple times too. And I think the Bucs put up more points. I see it being like a 27-20 type game.
27 to 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anybody goes for 2, I'm throwing my phone at the TV.
I know how you hate teams going for 2.
Yeah, going for 2, all that stuff. I don't like it. Get the analytics out of here. All right, Eagles at Falcons. Here's a good game. Tell me what you think of this. Where is your confidence in Philly going into this year, Dustin?
I actually think that Philly is going to be one of the worst teams in the league. I just don't see Jalen Hurts is still, he's got to develop and get better. And besides Devontae Smith, and I don't really see anybody else on Philly doing anything.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Brett?
I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm not sure. Again with these week 1 matchups and everything that we have, it's a little difficult to go by. But I think it's probably going to be Philly just because with Atlanta's offseason and Jones leaving and them not really being sure about everything. But it's hard to go into Atlanta. I don't know. I think Philadelphia probably just scrapes by here.
Okay. For me, I think Atlanta wins. I think that the fans are going to be out. It's going to be hype. I love the Kyle Pitts acquisition.
Me too.
I know it sucks they lost Julio, but Calvin Ridley was killing it without Julio out there. And now you add Kyle Pitts. All they're going to do is open it up for each other. I'm going to be interested to see how teams defend Kyle Pitts because I don't think they're going to be able to. I think Kyle Pitts is offensive rookie of the year. I think he's a monster this year. I don't know how you defend him. He's a wide receiver athlete with a tight end body. I just don't see it.
And see, yeah, Alex, I was thinking that, and for the simple fact that I think Pitts is going to bring more production than what Jones did because Jones has been injured the last, 2 to 3 years every now and then.
Oh,
so
absolutely. I think Kyle Pitts has a Justin Jefferson type rookie year. Maybe even more. I think he lights it up.
Does he break tight end records?
He might. Like, honestly, the roof is the ceiling, as Michael Jordan would say in Atlanta.
Oh, geez.
I don't see how Philly of all teams defends it. And because Matt Ryan is still he's an accurate quarterback. He might not be prime Matt Ryan anymore, but he's accurate enough. And all you have to do is throw it near Kyle Pitts. He's going to go get it.
Yeah, and on top of that, Ryan averages 4,000 yards a season. So
yeah, people sleep on that. He's still pretty good. Let's go 49ers against your Lions, Bret. What are your expectations for the Lions this year? They got Jared Goff at quarterback. They lost Kenny Galladay. The receiving core is much different. Tyrell Williams is like the number one. I'm going to pull up the Lions receivers here and look at it. But what are your expectations going into the year? Are you not expecting much, or do you want to go out and be competitive?
I mean, I want them to, go out and be competitive, obviously, but I'm not 100% sure on, what's going to be, what's going to come of things. I would really like for them to obviously compete in this first year, but for a playoff spot. But I just, I want to see them. I want to see positivity and promise. That's, if they're getting blown out, it's not going to make the fan base happy. But if they're competing and, staying in games and they can stay healthy, then there might be, some optimism there. But week one, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that San Francisco also doesn't have things figured out quarterback-wise fully. And that the Lions just somehow make it an amazing season opener and take the win.
Okay. Looking at the receivers, you got Tyrell Williams, who should be the go-to, should be number one. Quintez Cephas is not bad. He's someone you got to defend. He's a target for sure. I look for Amon-Ra St. Brown I know he's a 4th round pick, but I think he could get a lot of targets this year. Do you agree with that, Bret?
Yeah, he's definitely up and coming. A lot of people, he's getting a lot of looks. I know in a couple of my drafts, people actually drafted him.
Yeah.
And so we're just picking him up. So I'm curious. I hope it's going to be a nice addition because we do need help at the receiving core.
And I think your number one receiver this year won't be a wide receiver at all. It's going to be that tight end. I think TJ Hawkinson is going to get a lot of targets and get a lot of catches too.
I agree.
Yeah. What do you think, Dustin, looking at this matchup? So it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the 2019 49ers here. A healthy defense, Jimmy Garoppolo, playmakers. Can the Niners, what's their ceiling this year? What do you think, Dustin?
This is a dangerous 49ers team, in my opinion. Sunday's game is going to be all about the Nick Bosa show. It's going to be the return of Nick Bosa after being out all last season, and I think he's going to shine. And on top, didn't they just sign Josh Norman?
They did. They signed Josh Norman, but there's questions about, does Norman still have it at this age?
That would be, you have to wait and see. But I think that this Niners team is going to be dangerous.
I think the Lions have a decent offensive line too, especially adding Penei Sewell. You would know more than me, Bret, but they got some beasts on that offensive line.
Yeah, they're young too. They got Decker on there, and uh, he can help with Sewell. A lot of people have been a little skeptical about Sewell's play in the preseason, but I think he's going to be all right. That line should be able to protect. I think it's going to protect Goff better than any lines have protected Stafford over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do think that DeAndre Swift has a big year.
I do too.
I mean, he could have had a bigger year last year if he could cut down on some of the drops. He gets open, and he's a pretty good pass catcher. I'll still never understand how he dropped that one week 1 against the Bears. That should have been a game winner. But he's a weapon for sure. I think they'll use him a lot. The Niners, I mean, they got a lot of weapons. You look at Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. Underrated, people aren't talking about enough, is Trent Sherfield from Arizona. He was making plays in the preseason. Then, of course, you got George Kittle, Raheem Mostert, and people aren't talking enough about Trey Sermon, a rookie running back there as well. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Garoppolo has success early on this year and keeps the Trey Lance talk at bay for a couple weeks.
We're gonna see.
I want to see Trey Lance out there sooner than later, like everybody else. But I think with that defense healthy and the weapons around Garoppolo, unless Garoppolo is just terrible, which I don't think he's as bad as the narrative is right now. I think that the Niners, as long as the Niners are winning games and Garoppolo isn't losing them games, I think he remains starter deep into the year. Maybe like week 12, 13 is when they might potentially make a move.
Even if he's still winning?
If he's still winning, they won't. They'll sit. Ideally, Shanahan and the Niners would absolutely love to wait a full year before putting Trey Lance out there. Now, we'll see Trey Lance on the field with some gimmicks, with some situational, some red zone. I think we'll see Trey Lance out there, but they're not just going to give him the keys and say you're the starter unless Garoppolo is just trash.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why I think it's so much better of a situation there than it is in Chicago with Andy Dalton. But maybe I'm a Bears hater, but I'm a Bears fan, so what does that say? So I got the Niners week 1. I think the defense, to be honest, Bret, it's going to sound like I'm a hater, but Jared Goff, I don't think is going to have much success there in Detroit. I think he's going to struggle, and I think you guys are going to draft somebody. It might be a little bit of a rough year, and then you draft a quarterback high in the draft this next year, and that's your future franchise guy. Do you think that's a possibility?
It's very likely. I don't think Goff's going. I don't think Goff is our savior, but at the same time, I think a couple of years with him here, you're right. I mean, he's probably not going to sign a long-term deal here. So, but if he stays over the next few years and we draft somebody and can develop, that would be nice.
Yeah, he can be your veteran quarterback that the rookie learns from.
Right. Kind of like you were talking about.
Yeah, with Garoppolo and Dalton and that.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dustin.
It's crazy though, Alex, how you think Jared Goff is that bad. I mean, 3 years ago, he was just in a Super Bowl.
He was, but shit can change quickly in the NFL. I can't get over the quote from Sean McVay late in the year last year, where Sean McVay said he was ready to bench Jared Goff for John Wolford right then and there. He was done with Goff, and that's not a good sign. McVay's one of the best offensive guys in the league, and if he's saying that about Goff, it's not a good sign. And I just think the Rams have a better situation. You put Goff in Detroit, we mentioned Tyrell Williams, Quintez Cephas. There's not a lot of weapons there, at least receiving. He's got Hawkinson, which will be a go-to. He's got Swift, but I don't envision Jared Goff being very successful in Detroit. But I'm a Bears fan, so I could be a hater. So we'll see how the season goes. Let's go Packers Saints here. That's an interesting game with Hurricane Ida beating down on New Orleans. Hope people are doing all right. Hope that they can get back to normal as soon as possible. That sucks what's going on there with all that devastation. But the Saints get moved out of New Orleans, so they'll be playing in Jacksonville for Packers Saints. Jameis Winston getting the start week 1. I love that. He's got a great chance to be successful this year. Something to keep an eye on, though, Michael Thomas out the first 6 weeks on the PUP list. So we'll see how Jameis Winston does without his number 1 receiver. Bret, what are your thoughts on Packers Saints in Jacksonville?
I think Green Bay's probably going to win this one, yeah, because this is the neutral site. So
yeah,
I just, again, it's week. It's really difficult to make these predictions here, but even with all the front office or all the issues that Green Bay's had, I still think they have the edge.
Yeah, I mean, this is my mindset. I think Green Bay is going to be on an absolute tear this year. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams have already said this is the last dance. They're leaving. I don't think there's any doubt about that after this year. And the entire goal of the entire organization is to finish it out with a championship. That's the entire mindset in Green Bay. I think they're going to be on fire. Aaron Rodgers is just going to come out there and sling it like he always does. He's got Randall Cobb. He's got Devontae Adams. He's got these weapons. Valdez-Scantling could be in for a big year. I think Green Bay goes in there and gets the win. Rodgers doesn't have a great record in the state of Florida, but I still got the Packers winning this one. What do you think, Dustin?
Well, you already know what I think. I'm going to go with my favorite player and the most talented arm in NFL history. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Your favorite player. Get out of here, Dustin.
I have to, man.
One of the things to keep an eye on for Green Bay, no left tackle David Bakhtiari for the first 6 weeks on the PUP list. So Elgton Jenkins will be starting at left tackle. Billy Turner, it sounds like, at right tackle. So the offensive line could be a little bit of an issue. But when you look at it with Devontae Adams, Valdez-Scantling, Randall Cobb could be in for a good year. Alan Lazard, Mercedes Lewis at tight end, Robert Tonyan, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon at running back. Green Bay is going to be tough to beat. So I look for the Packers to win at week 1 and be pretty damn good. I could see them going like 13-4, 12-5 easily this year, and I think they win the division.
Yeah.
But good news for the Saints. Good news, though, because Jameis Winston, he got LASIK. He's seeing more clearly. He's teamed up with Sean Payton, who has a 8-0 or 8-1 record the last 2 years with backup quarterbacks. So it's like Sean Payton, you give him any quarterback, he can win with them. So I think the Saints will be very competitive with Jameis Winston too. I'm looking forward to watching the Saints this year.
Yeah, I was when I was watching that Jacksonville preseason game, man, Winston was making some hell of a throws.
He can, absolutely.
Man, was he making some throws.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe he's in for a career year, and that would be awesome to see. So, but I just don't think it happens week 1. So I got Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to put up 30 plus on the Saints. So it'll be like a 31-23 type of game. And then the Sunday night game. It's got to be on national TV to watch the embarrassment of the Chicago Bears in LA at SoFi. The stadium's going to be rocking. The Rams are going to be ready to go. They got their shiny new toy in Matthew Stafford, who Sean McVay is going to be gushing over. He's going to be feeling confident. This might be the best team Stafford's ever had, but that's saying a lot because a couple of years there in Detroit, he had Calvin Johnson and Sue on defense and dominant teams. But the Rams are thinking Super Bowl or bust. That's the only thought in their mind. And with Stafford in there. So the Bears defense is, they've played against Stafford a lot, so they're going to have some idea of what to come, how to play them. But the Rams are going to be ready to go. And I'll just say it right now. I don't think the Bears score anything on offense. I think Andy Dalton is going to be a 3-and-out machine. He might turn the ball over a couple times. It will surprise me if he can hold off Justin Fields until week 4. So I'm not looking forward to this.
Prediction.
Yeah, I think it's like it could be 23-10, 26-10 Rams, something like that.
Oh, come on.
Seriously, I'm not. I think if the Bears score a touchdown, I think it's going to be on defense.
Hey, see, okay, would there be a problem if he brought Justin Fields in if he was struggling and he really wanted to win? I mean,
no, put Justin Fields in if Dalton sucks. Absolutely, you got to have a quarterback in there that you believe in. Bears fans are convinced that Dalton's not as bad as what some people say. Trust me, he is. Dalton's not any good anymore. In 2019, he went 0-8 as a starter. He was winless in Cincinnati and got benched for Ryan Finley.
that's
Last year,
Cincinnati, though.
okay, that's Cincinnati, but he had A.J. Green. He had Tyler Boyd. He had C.J. Uzama. He had, who's that running back? Mixon.
Was AJ Green even healthy?
Probably not, but still. In Dallas, he had weapons. What are we going to say about Dallas? He had Zeke. He had Cooper. He had Gallup. He had C.D. Lamb.
He had to come into a dumpster fire of a Dallas team already. I mean,
that offense was loaded. You can't tell me the Cowboys don't have weapons.
They do, but I don't know. But just give the guy a chance.
All right, hear me out though. As bad as the Cowboys were on offense, I think the Bears are not going to do Dalton any favors. This is Matt Nagy you're talking about. How did Nick Foles look behind Matt Nagy's offense?
I mean, yeah, could barely put up points.
Well, that's what Dalton's going to do. I think Nick Foles is better than Dalton. Trubisky, statistically, since 2017, better than Dalton.
I think it's Matt Nagy and not Andy Dalton, but that's just me.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. The combination of Nagy and Dalton is trash, and it's not going to do anything. I know you got Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet, David Montgomery, but Nagy's not going to know how to do it. The best chance for Nagy to save his job is to put Justin Fields in there sooner than later.
You better hope he doesn't ruin Justin Fields.
That's the hope. That fingers are crossed, Dustin, because this is an organization that hasn't developed quarterback talent since Sid Luckman. How did Rex Grossman work out?
Took you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but is he still playing?
I mean, he'd be old by now, but
you know Rex Grossman. He wasn't any good. He had a game of like 0.0 quarterback rating. Dustin or Bret, what do you think? Because you're a Lions fan, you love to see the Bears struggle. What are your thoughts about Dalton being the guy week 1 and going into LA?
I don't think anybody has a chance going into LA week 1 just because of how hyped they are.
The number 1 defense in football last year.
And yeah, now they got Stafford. Like they're gonna be though if they aren't ready to play now, or I just there's no way. Like those guys are ready to get out there now and win. Yeah. They're hungry.
They won a playoff game with John Wolford. Imagine how that defense is gonna feel with Stafford out there.
Right.
So I don't think it's gonna be a fun game for me to watch. But like I said, I think the Rams will probably blow them out, beat them by double digits.
I agree with that. I think it's going to be I as far as them not scoring a touchdown, I don't know about that. They might score a touchdown offensively, the Bears, but
yeah,
I think you're right. It probably still will be pretty rough.
I can't wait for week 1. This season's going to be awesome with the fans back. It's going to be super competitive. I think that we can't talk about it enough how much not having fans hurt the the game last year. And with the fans back, we saw it in college football week 1, how many good games, how intense it was, hearing the crowd, cheering and booing and making the noise. With the stadiums packed, this week 1 is going to be a sight to behold, and I can't wait.
Hell yeah, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I've
Absolutely.
waited, man, for so long, and not only do we got college football, but come this Thursday, we get the even more of the sport we love. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. You get the NFL, and the NFL hopefully isn't going to call targeting every play like the NCAA. So should be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Thanks, guys, for coming on. Good shit as always.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
And so stay tuned, fans. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Keep, checking it out. We got an interview coming tomorrow night, a former defensive coordinator in the NFL. We've got interviews on deck all season long. We got some big stuff coming up and weekly content covering these games all year long. So give us a subscribe, follow along, and appreciate the support. Peace out.